The day the Vanguard was revealed, the entire galaxy held its breath. For decades, humans had remained somewhat underestimated by the Galactic Council and other advanced civilizations, seen mostly as a developing species struggling to find its place among the stars. But when the Vanguard appeared on the frontier, all assumptions changed. The ship was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Sleek, imposing warship built with technologies that seemed years ahead of any known blueprint. Its core housed an AI so advanced that it could learn and adapt during battle faster than any organic mind or conventional computer system. The hull shimmered with adaptive shielding that could shift in real time to block incoming energy blasts, meteor strikes, or even microscopic attacks designed to slip through normal defenses. Its engines roared with experimental propulsion, allowing it to move with startling agility and speed that left observers struggling to track its movements. At first, many dismissed the Vanguard as just another military prototype, a showpiece of human ambition. But then the simulations began, and the Vanguard's crew demonstrated skill and precision that surprised even the most hardened military veterans from other races. In practice battles on the outer edges of explored space, the ship outmaneuvered squadrons twice its size, combining calculated strikes with creative tactics that no one could predict. It wasn't just technology. It was how the humans used it that stunned their audience. The Galactic Council, which governed most of the known universe, started receiving reports filled with concern and confusion. Representatives from various species whispered among themselves, unsure if humanity was playing by the same rules everyone else followed. Some suggested the Vanguard might be hiding secret weapons or forbidden technology, while others feared that the ship was a sign of humans, preparing to dominate the galaxy by force. Yet despite their fears, the Council knew little about the true capabilities of the Vanguard or the people who commanded it. The ship's crew was tight-lipped, disciplined, and focused only on one goal: protecting humanity's interests at the farthest reaches of space. News traveled fast among the colonies and trading outposts where the Vanguard had first operated. Traders, explorers, and soldiers shared tales of the ship's mysterious presence, how it could appear suddenly out of nowhere, disable a hostile fleet with precision strikes, then vanish before reinforcements could arrive. Rumors began to spread that the ship was invincible, but no one could prove it. Even seasoned veterans were left scratching their heads, wondering if they were witnessing a new kind of warfare, one that would change everything they knew about combat. In secret meetings, council members debated what to do next. Some argued that the Vanguard should be disarmed or destroyed before it became too powerful. Others cautioned against provoking humans, warning that underestimating them had already been a costly mistake in the past. Meanwhile, back on Earth and within the human command centers, there was no celebration or boastfulness. Instead, a quiet determination filled the halls. The engineers and strategists who had built the Vanguard knew their creation was more than a machine. It was a symbol of human resilience and innovation. They watched the galaxy's reaction closely but refused to back down or reveal more than necessary. Their goal was simple but clear: ensure humanity could defend itself and thrive, no matter what challenges came next. The first real test came unexpectedly when a minor skirmish broke out on a remote mining station near the edge of human-explored space. A band of hostile aliens launched a surprise attack, hoping to seize valuable resources and push humans out. The Vanguard was deployed immediately. What followed was a breathtaking display of technology and teamwork. The ship sliced through enemy formations with pinpoint accuracy, its shields absorbing wave after wave of energy blasts. The AI predicted enemy moves before they happened, directing the crew to adapt instantly. The humans showed not just firepower, but creativity, diverting power to shields in critical moments, launching decoy drones and using the environment to their advantage. By the time reinforcements arrived from other colonies, the attackers were retreating, unable to match the Vanguard's precision and speed. This victory sent ripples throughout the galaxy. Many races began to view the Vanguard not as just another warship, but as a game-changer that could upset the delicate balance of power. Messages from the Galactic Council grew more urgent, and spies were reportedly sent to gather intelligence on the ship and its crew. Yet the humans remained calm and focused, neither threatening nor seeking conflict, but ready to defend their home. What made the Vanguard truly terrifying to others was not just its strength, but its unpredictability. No one could anticipate what humans would do next, or how they would push the limits of technology and tactics. The ship's presence became a constant question mark, a symbol of uncertainty in an otherwise stable galaxy. Some started calling the Vanguard a galactic threat, not because it had attacked anyone unprovoked, but because it challenged the old order. It forced the galaxy to face a new reality, that humanity was no longer the underdog, but a powerful force shaping the future of space. As the days passed, the Council found itself at a crossroads. They could try to control or contain the humans, risking open conflict, or they could attempt to understand and negotiate, hoping to find common ground. But the Vanguard and its crew stayed silent, their mission clear: to protect and explore, to stand strong against any threat, and to prove that human strength came from resilience, intelligence, and a refusal to be underestimated. The rise of the Vanguard was more than just the launch of a ship. It was the birth of a new chapter in galactic history, one where humanity declared without words that they had arrived and they would no longer be ignored. Tensions had been rising along the border of human explored space for months. A hostile alien faction known as the Zevron Collective had grown bolder, launching raids on outposts and trade vessels with increasing frequency. The Galactic Council warned both sides to avoid open conflict, urging diplomacy and restraint. But when a sudden attack threatened a critical human mining colony rich in rare resources, the Council's warnings were ignored, and the situation escalated quickly. The humans, unwilling to surrender their hard-won gains or show weaknesses, deployed their most powerful asset, the Vanguard. As the massive Zevron fleet, twice as large and bristling with weapons, moved in to crush the colony's defenses, the Vanguard arrived like a shadow in the void, swift and silent. What happened next shocked every observer, whether ally or enemy. The Vanguard moved with a speed that seemed impossible for a ship of its size. It darted between enemy cruisers, dodging missiles and energy blasts that could have destroyed lesser vessels. Its AI calculated every move with surgical precision, coordinating attacks that exploited every weakness in the Zevron formations. The human crew executed tactics that no other race had used before, combining hit-and-run strikes with defensive maneuvers that baffled the enemy commanders. At one point, the Vanguard created a false retreat, luring a squadron of Zevron warships into an ambush where hidden drones disabled their engines without destroying them, avoiding unnecessary casualties but removing key threats. Throughout the battle, the Vanguard's shields absorbed punishment that would have shattered other ships. The ship's experimental propulsion allowed it to vanish from one sector and reappear in another, turning the battlefield into a confusing maze for the Zevron fleet. Their commanders struggled to keep track of the human ship, their communication lines filled with frantic orders and warnings. The mining colony's defenses, once near collapse, rallied and repelled the attackers, saving the valuable resources. In civilian lives, news of the Vanguard's victory spread rapidly across the galaxy, leaving no doubt that humanity possessed power unlike any before. The Galactic Council, watching with a mixture of awe and fear, responded swiftly. They sent high-ranking envoys to Earth and human space stations, demanding that humans share the secrets of the Vanguard's technology. The message was clear. Either humanity would open its doors and allow other races to benefit from its advancements, or it would face strict sanctions and restrictions that could isolate them forever.
The council's tone was firm but polite,
masking the growing unease behind diplomatic words. However, humans were not inclined to yield. Their leaders refused the Council's demands, asserting that every species had the right to defend itself and develop technology as it saw fit. They emphasized that the Vanguard was a defensive tool created to protect human colonies from aggression, not to threaten peace in the galaxy. This stance surprised many. Some council members had expected humans to bow under pressure or to try to hide their capabilities. Instead, humans stood firm, united behind their right to exist and grow stronger. The refusal triggered whispers in every corner of known space. traders, soldiers, diplomats, and common citizens began to question what humanity truly represented. Was the vanguard a sign that humans were becoming a dangerous threat, ready to challenge the established order? Or was it proof that humans were simply evolving in ways others had not anticipated, pushing beyond limits once thought impossible? Stories emerged of humans working tirelessly, advancing science and tactics with relentless determination. Some admired this spirit, calling it a hopeful sign of progress. Others watched with suspicion, worried that such power might one day be used to dominate or conquer. The vanguard's role in the border conflict became a symbol of these fears. And hopes, to many, it represented the dawn of a new era, one where the old alliances and rules might no longer hold.
How do we?
Within human command centers, the mood was focused and cautious. The crew of the vanguard prepared for whatever might come next. Knowing that their actions had changed the galaxy's perception of humanity forever, their ship was not just a weapon, it was a statement. Humans would no longer be ignored or underestimated. As debates raged in council chambers and whispers filled starports, the vanguard stood ready in the cold darkness of space, its systems humming with quiet power. It waited not for orders, but for the next challenge that would test human will, and prove that strength could come with honor, and that humanity was here to stay. The Galactic Council gathered in urgent secrecy, its grand chamber filled with the most powerful leaders and representatives from every major species in the galaxy, the air thick with tension and uneasy silence. The rapid rise of the vanguard and its unmatched capabilities had thrown the balance of power into question, forcing the Council to confront a dilemma it had hoped to avoid, whether to disarm or neutralize the ship. Before humanity grew too strong, voices rose in heated debate as some of the most influential races pushed for immediate action. These leaders feared that allowing humans to keep such an overwhelmingly powerful warship would disrupt the fragile peace and give Earth too much influence in galactic affairs. They spoke of security, of protecting smaller nations and maintaining order, warning that unchecked power could lead to chaos and domination. Yet, not all council members agreed. Several powerful allies of humanity argued passionately that fear should not justify suppression. They reminded the assembly that strength was not a crime, and that humanity's right to defend itself was as valid as any other species' right to survival. This division widened the rift between factions, each preparing quietly for the worst, an inevitable clash that could ignite war across the stars. As the debates stretched long into the night, diplomats exchanged coded messages, fleets discreetly repositioned near key systems, and spies worked tirelessly to uncover secret plans on all sides. Meanwhile, the vanguard and its crew remained, detached from the political storm, focused only on their mission. Their commander understood that the ship symbolized more than just military might. It was a beacon of hope for humans everywhere, a statement that they would never bow to intimidation. Calm, yet alert, the crew trained relentlessly, preparing for any scenario that might arise. The ship's AI ran endless simulations, exploring strategies to defend the ship and its people without escalating conflict unnecessarily. Back on Earth, the public watched the unfolding crisis with mixed emotions, pride in their strength, but also concern about what might happen next. The government launched a campaign to rally support from other races, reminding the galaxy that humanity's advances were meant for protection and cooperation, not conquest. This message found some resonance, but distrust lingered like a shadow. The Council's leaders convened a final vote to issue an ultimatum. Humanity had to either dismantle the vanguard or face sanctions, potentially cutting them off from vital trade, technology exchanges, and diplomatic privileges. The decision sent shockwaves through human leadership. Rejecting the ultimatum would isolate them further and risk war. Accepting it would mean surrendering their greatest achievement and potentially endangering their colonies. Despite the pressure, humans stood united. Their refusal to disarm became a rallying cry across the galaxy, inspiring others who believed in freedom and self-determination. This defiance escalated tensions to an almost breaking point, and the galaxy held its breath, waiting to see if diplomacy could survive the test or if the first shots of a new war were about to be fired. The vanguard, silent and powerful in the void, waited too ready to defend, ready to protect, and ready to prove that strength and honor could coexist even in the darkest moments. The Galactic Council's warning had been clear and final: dismantle the vanguard or face consequences. Yet, despite all efforts at negotiation, humanity had refused to bow to pressure. The Council, determined to enforce its will, dispatched an enforcement fleet, a powerful armada comprised of ships from several allied races, equipped with the latest weaponry and reinforced shields. Their mission was to intercept the vanguard and impose a blockade, preventing it from moving freely near critical trade routes and human colonies. The blockade was intended as a show of force, a stern reminder that the Council would not tolerate defiance. But when the vanguard encountered the fleet, the situation escalated beyond words. Instead of withdrawing or surrendering, the human crew prepared for battle, not out of aggression, but necessity. The ship's captain issued calm, clear commands, focusing on minimizing casualties while maintaining the right to freedom and protection. Vanguard moved with unmatched precision, weaving through the enemy fleet like a phantom. It's advanced. AI predicted every maneuver the enforcement ships attempted, countering with calculated responses that disabled systems without destroying vessels outright. This was no reckless fight for dominance. It was a careful, brilliant display of strategy and teamwork, designed to break the blockade without sparking full-scale war. Drones were launched to jam sensors and communications, creating confusion. Among the blockaders, the human crew used electromagnetic pulses to temporarily disable weapons, allowing the vanguard to strike at key points, engines, control arrays, and shield generators without loss of life. Every move was deliberate, showcasing not just raw power but deep respect for life and the laws of war. Observers across the galaxy watched in awe and disbelief as the battle unfolded. The vanguard's ability to dismantle a superior force with such restraint challenged long-held beliefs about power and conflict. Some saw humanity's actions as a noble example, proof that strength could be wielded with honor. Others worried that this display only deepened the divide, fearing future battles might not be so controlled. As the blockade crumbled piece by piece, the vanguard sent a clear message: humans would fight to protect their freedom, but they would do so with principles intact. When the last ship of the enforcement fleet drifted powerless in space, the vanguard did not deliver a final blow. Instead, it offered aid to repair, damage, and evacuate the wounded, further surprising many with its compassion. This act of mercy rippled through the galaxy's media and diplomatic channels, sparking intense debate among the Council and its members. Meanwhile, back on the ship, the crew remained humble and focused. They knew this battle was more than a physical conflict. It was a test of character and resolve. Their success had proven that humans could be a powerful force and a responsible guardian, challenging the galaxy to rethink what it meant to be strong. The encounter did not end the crisis, but it shifted the tone. It opened a narrow window for dialogue and understanding, even as tensions simmered beneath the surface. The vanguard sailed onward, not as a weapon of destruction, but as a symbol of hope that power and principle could coexist, and that humanity was ready to lead not by fear, but by example. The defeat of the enforcement fleet had sent a powerful shock through the Galactic Council and the entire galaxy. What had started as fear and suspicion had now evolved into a grudging respect that no one could ignore. The vanguard, once viewed as a dangerous threat that might upset the delicate balance of power, had revealed a deeper truth about humanity. Truth wrapped in resilience, honor, and an unyielding commitment to protect not just themselves, but all who sought peace and freedom. The Council found itself at a crossroads. Years of rigid policies and cautious diplomacy were suddenly inadequate to address the new reality that humans had forced upon them. They could no longer see the vanguard simply as a weapon to be controlled or feared. Instead, it had become a symbol of what was possible when strength was guided by wisdom and a deep respect for life. Behind closed doors, the Council debated and deliberated, weighing the risks and opportunities of this changed dynamic. Several influential leaders, who had once demanded the dismantling of the vanguard, now spoke in favor of opening dialogue and building partnerships with humanity. They argued that if humans could wield such power with honor and restraint, then perhaps it was time to welcome them as equals in the governance of the galaxy. Tentative invitations were extended to Earth, proposing a new role for humanity, not just as a member of the Council, but as a leader in shaping the future. These proposals emphasize cooperation, shared knowledge, and a mutual commitment to peace and progress. Humanity, for its part, approached these overtures with cautious optimism. They recognized the importance of collaboration but remained vigilant, aware that old fears and prejudices might still lurk beneath polite words. Yet, the Vanguard's crew and leaders saw this moment as the beginning of a new chapter, a chance to prove that being powerful did not mean being a menace, but instead could mean being a guardian of freedom and hope for all species. Across the galaxy, the Vanguard became more than just a ship. It became a beacon, inspiring stories, songs, and dreams of a united future. Colonies that had once felt isolated and vulnerable now stood tall, proud of humanity's achievements and their part in this larger story. The ship's emblem, a symbol of resilience and courage, was displayed alongside the flags of allied worlds and halls of diplomacy and centers of learning. At the heart of this new era was a delicate balance, recognizing that strength must be paired with wisdom and that true leadership was earned through respect and collaboration, not fear or domination. The lessons learned from the conflicts and crises surrounding the Vanguard served as a guide for future generations, reminding all that power was a responsibility, not a right to be taken lightly. As humanity stepped forward into this expanded role, the galaxy watched closely, hopeful, yet wary. The journey ahead promised challenges and uncertainties, but also the possibility of peace and prosperity built on a foundation stronger than fear. The Vanguard sailed through the stars, not as an instrument of war, but as a symbol of what humanity could achieve, proof that, even in the vast, complex expanse of space, there was room for hope, courage, and a new kind of unity. This new galactic era was not without its difficulties, but it was a beginning that held the promise of something greater, a future where differences were respected. Strength was tempered by kindness, and all life could flourish under the watchful protection of those who chose to defend freedom for all.